Alright, coming at you with a top 10. That's right, top 10 best Extreme Rules style wrestlers, hardcore wrestlers. I got 10 of them here. This is my opinion of the top 10 hardcore style wrestlers of all time. So, with that said, let's get started. My number 10 pick is a tie. I've got a tie here, okay, between The Undertaker, Edge, and Triple H, okay? And that may sound weird, but that's my tie. And the reason is because all three of these guys are wrestlers today who are on their way out the door, and one has already went out the door. And they are guys that have showed us hardcore wrestling, not only in the past as far as The Undertaker is concerned, but also in this 2000s. Because a lot of the wrestlers that I have deeper on the list, most of them, if not all, if I remember right, are not even wrestling anymore. Okay, so that's why at my 10 I got a little three-way tie between some wrestlers right now who have participated in a lot of hardcore style matches. For example, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, Steel Cage, TLC, Buried Alive, Last Man Standing, Last Ride match, Casket match, hardcore style matches. Definitely worthy of being on the list, as well as Edge. Same kind of matches, you know, TLC, ladder matches, hardcore matches and such. Triple H, same deal. I'm pretty sure he participated in the chain match. You know, best 2 out of 3 falls with Shawn Michaels, which was a extraordinary match. One of my favorite matches of all time. So disagree with me if you want, but that's my number 10 pick, is those three in a three-way tie. If I'm forgetting somebody though, please tell me and I'll add them in the tie. But that's just the way I look at that. So coming in at number 9, my number 9 pick is the Sheik, the original Sheik. This is a guy that would use pencils, railroad spikes, barbed wire, of course, to inflict pain on his opponents. But he was most famous for the fireball. He would throw fire in the opponent's face, and the opponent would have to sell the move that he face was extremely burned from the Sheik's fireball or whatever. So the Sheik right there on my number 9 pick. A founder, a ground layer for extreme wrestling. Alright, coming in at number 8 is the Sandman. Now, he's number 8, but I don't have a lot to say about the Sandman. Other than that, he was hardcore, you know. He bashed the, if I remember right, I don't know, my memory fades me sometimes, but bashed the beer can. Pretty sure it was a beer can on his head. Would just hit himself with weapons and inflicted damage on himself like this, you know. Just very, you act like a crazy, insane psycho that would hurt anyone, including himself. There came out to Enter Sandman by Metallica for a while. Won championships and such. That's all I gotta say about my number 8 pick, the Sandman. Alright, my number 7 pick, Terry Funk. Now this is gonna piss a lot of people off that he's this deep on the list, that he's number 7 and not number 1 or number 2 or whatever. But it's all opinion. And when you get down to these top 10 lists, a lot of them could be changed. You know, you very well could say that Terry Funk is the greatest hardcore wrestler of all time, and I couldn't really argue with you with a great case. It's just there's so many hardcore wrestlers, and these are the 10 that stand out to me, and I just put them in order real quick in my mind here of where I think they belong on the list. I say, well, is someone deeper on the list better than this guy? Well, yeah, and ways enough they are, so that's why they're higher up on the list. It's not always about, how hardcore they was in the sense of, oh, let's just hit you with weapons all the time. It's, what kind of star they were. On top of how hardcore they were. Now, Terry Funk, big star in the hardcore world, but he didn't do some of the hardcore things that people upper on my list have. So Terry Funk, great rivalries with Mick Foley is what stands out to me about Terry Funk. And Terry Funk and Dory Funk, and just the Funks in general, great innovators in wrestling, is because of this great hardcore wrestling that they had. So Terry Funk there. Alright, number 6, we've got Abdullah the Butcher. Yes sir, this big behemoth guy was inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, actually. Abdullah the Butcher. This guy debuted in the 1950s. I don't remember the exact year. He's got incredible scars on his head, you could see, from blading, which is where they cut themselves, and then once they begin to sweat and they get hit in the cut, they'll begin to bleed quite profusely there. But it was never very serious of a cut. It was just, it would bleed a lot as well. So Abdullah the Butcher, very extreme, very hardcore there. And that's my number 6 pick. Alright, my number 5 pick. The 5th greatest hardcore wrestler of all time, Raven. Now, I've always liked Raven. He's a 5-time world champion. Now, he's not won like the WWE World Championship or anything, but he's got 3 or actually 2. He's got 2 ECW world titles. Won the NWA world title, and some other promotions. He also has the record, and this is what stands out to me and why Raven is 5 on my list. Raven holds the record for most hardcore championships in the WWE or WWF at the time. Most hardcore championships. Now, let me think how many world. God, how many was it? I'm trying to think. My God, how many? I think it's 27. I think he had 27. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had 27 world or hardcore championships. So there you go, Raven, number 5, 27 hardcore championships. Now that might be wrong, but hell, that's just what I remember. Alright, my number 4 pick, Tommy Dreamer. Now when you think of ECW, you think of Tommy Dreamer. If he's not the first person you think of, he's definitely, one of the people that come to mind. Tommy Dreamer, very hardcore, very in your face, big star in the hardcore world, in the ECW world. ECW fans, they all know who Tommy Dreamer is. So, Tommy Dreamer there. I've got as my number 4 pick. Number 3 is a guy some of you may not know who he is, because he wrestled quite a while ago, but Bruiser, the Bruiser Brody. Um, a horrible demeanor. Um, incorporated the brawling style of wrestling. Um, very ugly guy, had this long, curly, nasty, nappy hair with the beard. Um, would tear people up. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put Bruiser Brody at number 3. Alright, these top two are two names that you could say one or the other. But I'm gonna put at number 2 Sabu. Sabu is my number 2 pick. Known of course for his extreme wrestling style. Wrestled in ECW, obviously, where he's most known. Wrestled on TNA. And then he was on the ECW brand. And he's a 7-time World Heavyweight Champion. 2 ECW World titles. 1 NWA title. 1 NWA Independent World Heavyweight title. An XPW World title. A WWC Heavyweight title. And the 3 PW. So, just extremely hardcore, extremely, all of these guys, hardcore. Was very unique. He would do high flying stuff as well. It wasn't just about taking you and beating you down. He would very innovative with, started the chair and then the kick to the face while the guy held the chair after he threw it to him. That kind of stuff that RVD does now. Takes after Sabu there. And number 1, obviously, the obvious guy that I've left off the list here, Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, Mankind, whatever the hell you want to call him. He's my number 1 hardcore pick. From the King of Death matches, to Terry Funk, to being thrown off the Hell in a Cell, to Buried Alive matches, to hardcore matches, to just the hardcore man. When you think of hardcore, you think, unless you're biased and toward WWF with ECW, like you love ECW. And Mick Foley was on ECW, so there you go on that. So you got the best of both worlds. He's the star power plus the hardcore power. Total package when you come to a hardcore wrestler. And he made his name off of being hardcore. Throw it off the Hell in a Cell by Undertaker. Throw it off by Triple H. Choke slam through. The tacks. Being choke slammed on the tacks. Always using the tacks. Always acting very deranged. The barbed wire. Just great stuff. So, number 1, Cactus Jack. That's my opinion of the top 10 greatest hardcore wrestlers of all time. That's all I got for now. Probably the next time you'll hear from me is an ECW preview, which will probably be Thursday, if not Friday, because my weekends are always very busy. I don't make videos on the weekends, hardly ever. But I'll be coming with that Extreme Rules preview. I'll give my thoughts on that, give my take on who I think will win. I'll say who I want to win, and then who I think will win. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe. That's all I got. Peace.